Okay, well, if you watched my previous video, you saw I was working on this worn winch, and I just wanted to provide kind of a follow-up. You can see I've cleaned all the pieces, and I'm getting ready to reassemble everything and re-grease everything. Um, you can see this is the planetary sort of torque multiplier deal that they had. And as mentioned in the previous video, this is the worn Pro Vantage 4500S. And the S just means it came with synthetic line. I washed this line in the sink inch by inch, kind of relaxing it so you get the dirt out. And picked up some stainless steel hardware that I'm going to use in conjunction with the line. I had mentioned in the other video that I was kind of, very impressed with the overall build quality of this unit, and you can see I guess this is with the Pro Vantage model, they stick to all steel or all metal gears. The housing here appears to be aluminum, but that's the outer race, I think. So there's the actual gears that do the work are all steel, so that's pretty nice. Shaft is steel. This gear here that transmits the power to the winch spool is aluminum, but it's a large gear. So I ran everything through the sonic cleaner and used some WD-40 and what have you. But the main thing I wanted to kind of address was this. After I in the other video, I had the motor apart, and I discovered that what was wrong with this this winch, and like I said, I got it off of eBay for $150 because it was being sold for parts. I thought I might kind of luck out and get a fully operating winch for $150. Unfortunately, no such luck. So when I first put everything back together on the motor, and then I hooked up 12 volts to my battery charger, 50 amps on the starting circuit on the battery charger, and nothing happened. Didn't get any. The motor didn't turn. Didn't get any sparks, anything. So at first I couldn't figure out what was wrong. As mentioned, the motor or the winch must have been submerged, probably going through streams and rivers and such, and it looked like it got some mud and dirt in it and kind of trapped the water inside here and allowed everything to rust. So I was starting to get pretty nervous that I was not going to be able to get this thing working. So what I ended up doing, and if you check my other video, you can see where the motor's disassembled. On the winding, the armature thing, at the very base right here, they have a set of 4 brushes that are tied into these terminals. So when the motor would not turn over, I looked a little closer at the brushes, and I realized those were corroded. And this part here, which turns freely relative to the armature and the windings, it spun so freely that I began to realize that the spring tension for the brushes was not making contact. The brushes weren't making contact, so you could just spin this thing freely. So if anyone ever, is faced with kind of getting their winch that has been underwater working again, you want to take kind of special note as to whether this part here, when you take everything apart, spins freely, or if there's a drag against the armature of the motor. So what I ended up having to do was I had to, even though I had cleaned everything out, it still didn't work. I took the motor apart several times testing it. In the end, what got it to work was I took WD-40 and I sprayed it on the brushes. And then I took a little steel needle and I broke the rust off the springs at the back portion of the brushes. After the WD-40 and messing around with the springs, you know, I kind of shook out a bunch of rust, and then I took the this assembly up here with the armature, and I put it into my sonic cleaner and ran it for, you know, 15 or 20 minutes, and that kind of freed the brushes up. The vibration freed up those brushes in their little sliding compartments. And then when I spun this top piece, I noticed there was a very definite kind of drag with the brushes, which had not been present before. Then I used some Bon Ami. I dumped some Bon Ami into this little kind of area down here, and then spun this, which allowed the brushes to kind of clean their mating surfaces. And then I tossed it back into the sonic cleaner for another 10 or 15 minutes. Cleaned the whole thing out with some under the sink. Blew it out in the garage with the air compressor. Put the whole thing back together. Put the 12 volts from the car charger, battery charger on here, and sure enough, the thing fired up, and it runs great. So I just wanted to kind of, you know, provide that, and now you can see there's some drag on this because the brushes internally are making contact. So I kind of wanted to just provide a follow-up video for anyone who might be faced with getting a winch which has been submerged and sitting for a while working again. It threw me a little bit in the beginning because, like I said, I didn't catch at first that the brushes had seized up in their little holders. But so anyways, I'm gonna go grab some grease and put this thing all back together, and hopefully it should be on my pickup truck here pretty soon. But like I say, for anyone who is working on these winches, I thought this might be kind of a helpful little video. And again, I'm very impressed with the build quality of the Warn winch, especially this Pro Vantage version. So for anyone shopping around for winches, definitely one to consider. It just seems like every piece on this winch is really well thought out. And really very high quality. So I'm looking forward to getting this little guy running again. And once I have it all back together, maybe I'll toss another video up there. So, okay, well, if you have any questions, as always, feel free to post them in the comment section below. And really appreciate all the subscribers. Thanks for watching.